Mackerel trawling is a large-scale fishing method, often used in offshore areas where mackerel are abundant. The process begins with fishing vessels equipped with specialized trawling systems leaving port and moving to fishing grounds where mackerel are common. Fishermen use positioning equipment and fish finders to identify schools of fish moving on the seabed. When mackerel are detected, the vessel will drop the trawl net, a large funnel-shaped net with a wide mouth, into the sea and drag it behind the vessel as it moves. The net is designed to widen at the mouth and gradually close at the tail, helping to gather the fish in one place without letting him escape. The vessel moves at a moderate speed to ensure that the fish are not crushed and the net is not torn. After a certain period of time, the net is pulled up using a hydraulic winch system. After being pulled onto the vessel, the mackerel is classified, preserved with ice or immediately put into a cold storage to maintain freshness. This is an effective fishing method, achieving large yields, but also requires complex operating techniques. High investment costs and strict compliance with regulations on protecting aquatic resources to avoid overexploitation. In addition to technical factors, catching mackerel by trawling also depends a lot on weather and season factors. Mackerel often migrate seasonally, concentrating at certain times of the year such as early spring or late autumn, when the sea temperature and currents are suitable for the living habits of this fish species. Therefore, fishermen need experience and knowledge about mackerel habits to determine the most effective time and location for fishing. In addition, during the fishing process, crew members must coordinate closely with each other to operate the vessel, control the trawl, monitor the machinery system and handle arising situations. This job requires perseverance, good physical strength and a high team spirit, because they often have to work for many hours in the middle of the ocean in harsh conditions. After finishing the trip, the mackerel will be brought ashore for distribution to wholesale markets. Processing plants or for export. Thanks to modern trawling techniques, the mackerel catch is increasing, contributing to increasing the income of fishermen and promoting the development of the seafood industry. However, for this activity to be sustainable, there needs to be strict management from the authorities, applying measures to monitor output, protect fishing grounds and encourage the application of environmentally friendly technology to maintain the balance of marine ecology. Preserving tuna after capture also plays an extremely important role in the entire trawling process. As soon as the fish are pulled out of the water, if not promptly processed and cooled, the quality of the fish will quickly decline due to the effects of temperature and bacteria. Therefore, most fishing vessels today are equipped with modern cold storage systems, including low-temperature tanks or circulating seawater (RSW) cooling systems, to help maintain the freshness of the fish throughout the offshore fishing period. Some vessels also combine on-site processing methods such as gutting, removing viscera and temporary packaging to prepare for transportation to processing facilities when ashore. In addition, the trawling process also requires strict compliance with regulations on mesh size, fishing time and fishing area to avoid catching young fish, causing a decrease in natural stocks. Fishermen are also encouraged to use devices that reduce unwanted byproducts, bycatch, such as non-target fish escape devices or warning systems to avoid net entanglement with coral reefs, which can damage the marine environment. Thanks to the combination of modern technology, practical knowledge and awareness of resource protection, the method of catching mackerel by trawling is gradually being improved. aiming at the goal of sustainable development and long-term efficiency for both fishermen and the marine ecosystem. Not only stopping at exploitation, mackerel fishing by trawling is also closely linked to the large seafood supply chain from sea to table. After arriving at the port, mackerel will be taken to purchasing facilities, where they are classified according to size, quality and intended use. Fish that meet export standards will be transferred to modern processing plants, where steps such as cleaning, cutting, freezing, vacuum packaging and transportation to domestic and foreign markets are carried out. Other batches of fish can be consumed domestically in fresh form or processed into familiar products such as braised mackerel, fried mackerel, steamed mackerel, etc. to serve people's daily meals. Thanks to the high demand and high economic value, mackerel has become one of the fish species that brings stable profits to fishermen and seafood businesses. However, to maintain long-term resources, the mackerel fishing industry needs to aim for harmony between economic benefits and environmental protection. Sustainable seafood certification programs, such as MSC, the application of clean technology, reducing emissions from fishing vessels, as well as raising public awareness about ocean protection are necessary solutions. In the future, if properly invested in technology, human resources and support policies, mackerel fishing by trawlers will not only bring high economic efficiency but also contribute to building a modern, environmentally friendly and sustainable fishing industry in addition to the obvious economic benefits. Tuna fishing by trawlers is also facing many challenges that need to be addressed. One of the worrying issues is the phenomenon of overexploitation in some traditional fishing grounds, causing tuna stocks to show signs of decline over time. The fact that many vessels are fishing in a narrow area at high intensity can easily lead to resource depletion, affecting the long-term livelihoods of fishermen as well as the balance of marine ecology. In addition, illegal, unreported and unregulated IUU fishing is still occurring in some places, undermining efforts to sustainably manage the country's fisheries sector. To deal with this situation, there needs to be close coordination between competent agencies. Local governments and fishing communities in monitoring, licensing, inspecting fishing activities and disseminating laws. At the same time, investing in upgrading the fleet towards modernization, integrating digital technology such as GPS positioning systems, marine sensors, and electronic logbooks, not only helps increase labor productivity but also facilitates resource management and traceability of aquatic products. On the other hand, training programs for fishermen on environmentally friendly fishing techniques, post-harvest preservation, labor safety, and climate change response also need to be promoted. Thus, tuna fishing by trawlers will not only be a traditional occupation, but also become an important link in the country's strategy for developing a green and sustainable marine economy. In the context of increasingly complex climate change, tuna fishing by trawlers must also adapt to unpredictable changes in the marine environment. Rising sea temperatures, changes in ocean currents and salinity have directly affected the distribution and migration patterns of mackerel, forcing fishermen to constantly adjust where and when they go to sea. Strong storms and extreme weather are also occurring with greater frequency, endangering fishing trips and disrupting the seafood supply chain. In response, many localities and fishing units have begun to apply flexible response measures such as building digital fishing ground maps, using satellite-based fishing ground forecasts, developing early weather warning models, and reorganizing fishing schedules in a safer and more efficient manner. At the same time, research and development of environmentally friendly trawl nets, such as those that are lighter, less damaging to the seabed and allow small creatures to escape, are being widely promoted to limit negative impacts on the ecosystem. On the other hand, the participation of fishermen in cooperative fishing teams or production chain linkages is also a positive trend, helping to increase the ability to negotiate. Share fishing ground information, and at the same time increase product value by complying with quality standards and traceability. It can be said that in the new context, tuna fishing by trawlers is not only a single livelihood activity but is gradually transforming into a high-tech economic sector, requiring a close combination of traditional experience, scientific progress and community responsibility for marine resources. This is the necessary direction for the fisheries industry to continue to develop strongly, while contributing to environmental protection and preserving resources for future generations from a social perspective. Tuna fishing by trawlers also plays a key role in creating jobs and stabilizing the lives of hundreds of thousands of coastal workers. Each trip to sea often mobilizes a large number of crew members, technicians, and logistics workers, thereby creating a dynamic marine economic ecosystem where everyone contributes to the value chain of aquatic products. Not only seafarers. But also the community in the rear, such as those providing fishing logistics services, boat repair, ice and fuel supply, purchasing, processing, etc. also benefit. Many fishing villages have formed their own cultural features associated with the sea, in which trawlers play the role of the main fishing means, contributing to preserving the traditional identity of coastal residents. However, fishermen's lives still face many difficulties such as unstable income due to fluctuations in market prices, high fuel costs, and high occupational risks when working long days at sea, far from the mainland. Therefore, the state and social organizations need to have more practical support policies such as preferential loans to build new and upgrade fishing vessels, support fisheries insurance, organize vocational training and technology transfer for fishermen, and invest in fishing port infrastructure, cold storage, and processing facilities to increase the added value of caught products, if given due attention and a long-term development orientation. Tuna fishing by trawlers will not only help improve the lives of coastal people but also contribute to the national marine economic development strategy towards a modern, responsible and sustainable fisheries industry. In addition to direct economic and social contributions, tuna fishing by trawlers also plays an important role in affirming sovereignty and protecting the security of the fatherland seas. Each ship going to sea is not only a tool for exploiting resources, but also a living milestone, affirming the regular presence of Vietnamese fishermen in traditional fishing grounds, especially in distant waters, where there are frequent disputes or are affected by sovereignty infringement activities. In fact, many fishing vessels, while catching mackerel, have coordinated with the Fisheries Surveillance Force and the Coast Guard to carry out patrolling, reporting, and supporting rescue at sea, contributing to maintaining order and security and creating a joint force between specialized forces and fishermen. Therefore, Supporting and protecting the fishing workforce, including trawlers, should be considered part of the country's long-term strategy for protecting the country's seas and islands. Policies such as providing information on safe fishing grounds, supporting communications, investing in radar systems and sea observation stations, or encouraging the construction of large-capacity fleets capable of going offshore, are all necessary factors to improve fishing capacity and soft defense power at sea. In the future, if these factors are well promoted, the tuna fishing industry by trawlers will not only stop at being a production industry, but will also become a symbol of the resilience, patriotism and will to stick with the sea of the Vietnamese people, contributing to firmly protecting national sovereignty on every wave. Finally, to sustainably develop the tuna trawling industry in the era of industrialization and international integration, there needs to be synchronous coordination between three pillars: the state, enterprises and fishermen. The state plays a role in guiding and creating a favorable legal environment through investment support policies, protecting aquatic resources and strictly controlling responsible exploitation activities. Enterprises need to act as a bridge between fishermen and the market, investing in preservation technology, deep processing, traceability and building the Vietnamese tuna brand in the international arena. Fishermen, those who directly depend on the sea, need to raise awareness about environmental protection, comply with fishing regulations and actively participate in production linkage models according to the value chain. In addition, the application of science and technology such as artificial intelligence, big data, remote fishing vessel management systems, etc. is also an inevitable trend to improve exploitation efficiency, minimize resource waste and increase competitiveness for aquatic products. In the context of the world moving towards a green economy and rational exploitation of marine resources, Vietnam's tuna trawling industry needs to be approached with a strategic vision. Harmoniously combining tradition and modernity, exploitation and conservation. Only then will the fishery truly become a launching pad to bring fishermen to sea firmly, bringing long-term benefits to the country, and contributing to the prosperous and sustainable development of the marine economy. Not only that, the development of tuna trawling industry also needs to be associated with the education and training of highly specialized human resources in the field of fisheries. Currently, many fishermen still rely mainly on traditional experience, while exploitation and preservation technology is increasingly modern, requiring precise understanding and technical skills. Therefore, schools and institutes specializing in fisheries need to increase short-term and long-term courses on fishing vessel operation, use of positioning equipment, trawling techniques, post-harvest product preservation and sustainable exploitation management. At the same time, it is necessary to encourage the younger generation in coastal areas to participate in this profession not only through passion but also through thorough preparation of knowledge and skills. Localities should also implement the model of fishermen learning on the spot, which combines theory from experts and practice at sea, helping workers to easily access and apply in practice. In addition, the role of women in the fisheries value chain, especially in the stages of purchasing, processing and distributing products, also needs to be recognized and supported through training programs and access to capital. When the entire coastal community, from those who go out to sea to those who provide logistics services, are equipped with the appropriate knowledge and skills, the tuna trawling industry will have the conditions to develop comprehensively, proactively adapting to changes in the natural environment and consumer markets. Overall, this is a profession with great potential and many values, not only in terms of economy but also in terms of culture. society and national defense, if properly oriented and invested in for the long term, along with improving technical skills and labor organization. The application of information technology in the management and operation of trawlers is becoming increasingly necessary and effective. Satellite-based vessel monitoring systems, VMS, electronic logbooks, marine environmental sensors and data analysis software help fishermen and management agencies accurately monitor location, fishing activities and natural conditions at sea. This not only helps prevent illegal fishing but also optimizes fishing strategies, reduces fuel costs and increases fishing efficiency. In addition, mobile applications supporting fishing ground information lookup, weather forecasts and trawl orientation are also being developed to facilitate seafarers in making quick and accurate decisions. Digitalizing the entire process from going to sea, exploitation to preservation and transportation also helps to improve transparency, build trust with consumers and export partners, and expand opportunities to access international markets that are strict about standards and traceability of seafood products. It can be said that information technology is the key for the tuna trawling industry to develop in a modern, sustainable direction and adapt to the current globalization trend in the seafood industry. In addition, protecting the marine environment during the tuna trawling process also plays a very important role in maintaining the long-term development of the fishery. In recent years, awareness of the importance of the marine ecosystem has been increasingly raised. Because the marine environment is where aquatic resources, including tuna, are nurtured, using trawls with improper techniques or nets with mesh sizes that are too small can harm other aquatic species, negatively impact biodiversity and reduce future resources. Therefore, fishermen and authorities need to coordinate to regularly inspect, monitor and apply strict regulations on mesh sizes, fishing areas and appropriate fishing times to protect juvenile fish and other species. At the same time, developing environmentally friendly trawl technologies that are easy to recycle and reduce plastic waste at sea is also a positive direction. In addition, raising awareness among the fishing community about protecting the marine environment, organizing marine sanitation programs, collecting waste and limiting the use of polluting materials will also contribute to maintaining a green, clean, beautiful marine environment, ensuring that aquatic resources are continuously regenerated. Thanks to that, the tuna fishing industry by trawlers can develop stably and sustainably, contributing to protecting the future of future generations of fishermen and the development of the country's marine economy. In addition to develop sustainable tuna trawl fishing, it is also necessary to build cooperation models between fishermen, businesses and scientific research organizations. These models